What if I told you that every time you check the weather, invest money, or even go to the doctor, you might be misunderstanding the odds? Have you ever refused to fly because of a fear of crashing and then texted while driving home? Have you ever bought a lottery ticket thinking, hey, someone has to win, but ignored the 1 in 300 million odds? These aren't just silly habits. They reveal something profound and dangerous about how our brains handle uncertainty. This is a story of ancient instincts clashing with modern complexity, and it affects your health, your money, even your freedom. Let's talk about why we're so bad at understanding probability and how learning to think differently might change your life. Long before statistics, long before mathematics, we survived on instincts. Our ancestors didn't need probability theory to dodge predators. Hear rustling, run. See clouds, find shelter. No calculations, just action. Today, neuroscientists say our brains work like Bayesian machines, constantly updating beliefs based on past experience. But here's the catch. Those machines evolved in tribal villages, not stock markets. This mismatch explains why we still trust our gut, even when it leads us astray. For example, people feel safer driving than flying, even though the statistical risk of flying is thousands of times lower. That's not logic, that's ancient fear. We are wired to overreact to visible threats and underreact to abstract ones. Probability is abstract, fear is immediate. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Here are some of the biggest ways we mess up probability. The gambler's fallacy. Think a roulette wheel that landed on black 5 times is due for red? That's wrong. Every spin is independent. In Monte Carlo, 1913, the ball landed on black 26 times in a row. Gamblers lost millions betting on red. With every new land on black, they believed in red. Or maybe you just watched Jaws? Suddenly, shark attacks seem likely. Statistically, even though vending machines kill more people yearly. Media impact. After September 11th, many Americans avoided flights. Instead, they drove. Road fatalities surged. A study by Professor Gerd Gigerenzer found that in the year following September 11th, approximately 1,595 additional people died in car accidents in the United States compared to the average from previous years. This number exceeds the death toll from the September 11th terrorist attacks themselves. Air travel declined sharply, especially for short distances, which led to a rise in road fatalities. Base rate neglect. Imagine you take a test that's 99% accurate. It says you're positive. Are you actually sick? Most people think, yes, 99% sure. But that's wrong if the disease is very rare. For instance, the disease affects 1 in 10,000 people. Out of 10,000 tested, 1 truly has the disease. Test likely finds it. But about 100 healthy people might also test positive by mistake. So if you test positive, chances are you're not sick. Only approximately 1 in 101 truly are. Misunderstanding leads to panic, overtreatment, and wasted resources. The history of probability theory didn't exist until gambling demanded it. Blaise Pascal and Pierre de Fermat corresponded in the 1600s, trying to calculate fair bets. Their letters birthed probability theory. In the late 1600s, Jacob Bernoulli wrote The Art of Conjecture, showing that large samples reveal deeper truths. And now, let's look at it more in practice. Let's imagine you're on a game show. There are 3 doors. Behind one door is a car, the prize. Behind the other 2 are goats. You pick a door, say door number 1. Then the host, who knows what's behind each door, opens another door, say door number 3, revealing a goat. Now he asks, do you want to stay with your original choice or switch to the other unopened door? And here we have intuition versus reality. Most people think, now there are 2 doors left, 50-50 chance, doesn't matter if I switch. But that's wrong. The truth is, you should always switch. It doubles your chances of winning. Here's why. When you first choose, your chance of picking the car is 1/3. That means the chance the car is behind one of the other two doors is 2/3. After host shows a goat, the full 2/3 probability shifts to the remaining unopened door, since the host will never reveal the car. So, staying equals 1/3 chance of winning. Switching equals 2/3 chance of winning. Why it's so hard to believe even many mathematicians and professors refuse to accept this at first. When Marilyn Vos-Savant, the woman with the highest recorded IQ, wrote about this in a magazine, thousands of angry letters flooded in, saying she was wrong, but she wasn't. This problem shows how human intuition often fails with probability, and how deeply we trust our gut even when the math proves it wrong. How many people do you think need to be in a room to have a 50% chance that someone shares your birthday? Only 23 people are needed in a room to have a 50% chance. Most guess far higher. Combinatorics baffles our brains. Or pay attention to terrorism versus reality. Terrorism is terrifying, but statistically rare. Terrorism grips our attention. It's dramatic, violent, and emotionally charged. When a terrorist attack occurs, it dominates headlines, 24-hour news cycles, and social media feeds for days, sometimes weeks. But here's the statistical truth. Your actual risk of dying in a terrorist attack is extremely low. According to data from agencies like the U.S. National Safety Council and CDC, you are more likely to die from slipping in your bathroom, more likely to die from choking on food, and even more likely to die from lightning. Yet people often fear terrorism disproportionately, making major life decisions, such as changing travel plans, supporting surveillance laws, or fearing certain groups, based on that fear. How can we get better? The good news is we're not doomed to misunderstand probability. We can train our brains to think more clearly, and it starts with changing how we interpret numbers, stories, and risk. We can train ourselves to think probabilistically, and that's how. Use natural frequencies, 10 in 1,000. Instead of abstract percentages like 0.1%, translate them into concrete numbers. This makes data more relatable and less misleading. Draw diagrams or probability trees. Visual tools like decision trees or Venn diagrams can help untangle complex situations. Focus on base rates before personal stories. Always ask, how common is this thing really? Our brains are drawn to emotional stories, but base rates ground us in reality. Ignoring them leads to overestimating risk or assigning blame incorrectly. Slow down and question gut instincts. Am I reacting emotionally or thinking statistically? Probability doesn't tell us what will happen. It tells us what's likely, and that's powerful. Understanding probability helps you make better decisions, avoids costly mistakes, gives you clarity in a chaotic world. You don't need to be a statistician. You just need to think clearly,